Brother Joe. Cheers, mate. All right, so I got your response texts. Doing a video, read through them a few times. Got my thoughts together. I'm just going off the dome here. Gonna do a response video for you. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, so Miracle of the Sun. I'm not gonna respond to everything. Just in the interest of time, if there's something I don't respond to that you want to hear a response to, feel free to let me know. I don't want to be accused of dodging anything. Yeah, I skipped to just the part where you said conclusions on this. I've got all the points from your texts right here before me on my computer, and I'm gonna just go through all of them. All right, so you said we got Miracle of the Sun here. You said natural explanations and means don't disprove the miracle by itself because God can and does use natural means in a miraculous way. In fact, we believe that God almost always uses the natural world and laws. That's why rare miracles are just that, rare and miraculous. Okay. So it kind of seems like you're moving the goalposts here. Because that would be indistinguishable from the event just being a natural like coincidence or something, and you're trying to establish something that is unproven, the existence of God, very specifically the existence of your God, with the characteristics that you claim that your God has, right? Your religion, and so again, you can say that the event just being a natural occurrence seems unlikely, but the event being a natural occurrence with God behind it, you say seems more likely. Well, but God is unproven. You're trying to use this example, which could just be completely a natural phenomenon, to prove the existence of God. And this could just have a natural explanation. So, and it's unfalsifiable to say, well, that's a natural explanation, but that's God. That's unfalsifiable. You can't prove that. And yeah, like I said, it seems like you're moving the goalposts here. Because again, you're trying to convince me that this is true. Well, the burden of proof is on you. If you're trying to convince people that your God is real and this is true, you're saying it doesn't disprove it if it was just a natural thing. Well, it doesn't prove it either, and the burden of proof is on you. So you go on to say, even if it was a rare natural phenomenon, the children saying a miracle would happen on that exact day, at that exact spot where the rare natural phenomenon would happen, would be quite miraculous. We could call that a prophecy fulfilled, supernatural in origin, or coincidence. Again, you're trying to use this claim to establish the existence of God, and that's a claim that's an extraordinary claim, which requires extraordinary evidence, as Carl Sagan would say, and that's not extraordinary evidence. A natural phenomenon, a phenomenon that could just be natural, that we couldn't know if it was God or not. It's just a natural phenomenon. It doesn't prove that. Okay, so you go on to say the strongest support is still the many different people who claim they saw something miraculous with the sun. Becomes a judgment call measuring it against. Some people report not seeing anything. Some people were expecting a miracle, although a miracle was predicted. No one knew what that miracle would be. Okay, those two reasons alone are justification for rejecting this out of hand. We should reject this out of hand, um, based on that. Okay, and you're because you say that some people didn't see it. Well, if this is a miraculous, a quote unquote natural explanation that's orchestrated by God, I guess that's what you're claiming here. It seems like you're modifying your original claim was that it was a supernatural explanation, uh, but if that's the case, shouldn't everybody have experienced that? You're talking about an all-powerful God that can do anything. Wouldn't that God have made sure that everybody at that event, if this was his means of revelation through the natural world, through the natural laws, wouldn't you expect that that God would make sure that everybody there experienced that? All of these people that are his children that he created, that he loves, would have experienced the phenomenon. Uh, and the fact that they were expecting it, but you say, although it was expected, no one knew what the miracle would be. Well, that could be argued the other way because they're primed to look for anything as a miracle, right? So I don't think that that point that they didn't know what to expect goes in your favor. I think it goes the other way because then they're looking for anything rather than something specific. So then you say, this many eyewitness accounts for something so extreme shouldn't be taken lightly. That's why most critics do a deep dive into potential meteorological possibilities rather than brushing it off as a group hallucination. Okay, so you said before that a group hallucination was unlikely. Okay, but a hallucination is a natural phenomenon, right? As would be some sort of meteorological explanation. But you're claiming that this was some sort of natural phenomenon orchestrated by God. And you seem to be saying that the group hallucination is the less likely of natural explanations, right? And so, therefore, it's probably more likely that it was the meteorological explanation. However, you're saying that this is orchestrated by God or that this is the work of God. So, shouldn't we expect the less likely natural explanation to be more likely to be what God would do if this was God doing this? I mean, if everybody got exactly the same hallucination, that would be pretty miraculous. That would be more miraculous in a even being a natural phenomenon. It would be more miraculous and would more resemble something that we would expect to see from a God using the natural means to reveal himself. Um, I mean, if everybody woke up tomorrow morning, everybody had the same dream. Everybody in the entire world reported having like exactly the same dream. A dream is a natural phenomenon. Doesn't need a supernatural explanation for why we dream, right? But if everybody had exactly the same dream, that would be pretty crazy, right? That would look like, obviously, a dream can be, can have a natural explanation, but every single person having exactly the same dream, um, that would look like something orchestrated by the divine, right? It's something we would expect to see, uh, rather than that would be more miraculous. All right, so we get into final points about miracles. You say it would also be a mistake. I think this is with reference to myself saying it would be a mistake to just assume that there's some sort of supernatural explanation. You say it would be a mistake to assume that there has to be some kind of scientific explanation for the phenomenon, even if we don't know what it is. A question to ponder: what would it take to believe a phenomenon to be supernatural? Hopefully, the answer isn't. There would be nothing to convince me that something is of supernatural origin. Well, I actually don't like this term supernatural because natural just describes, reality, what's true of reality. So to say of something that it's supernatural as if that's something other than natural, I don't like that. Because natural is everything, right? So I would categorize that. I think what a better way of saying kind of what we're trying to get at here, is it would be a mistake to assume there is an explanation that conforms to current natural what are currently believed to be natural laws, right? Maybe something acting outside of the physical universe, which would still be natural. It would just be something more. It would just be natural. It would just be more natural, right? It would just be another natural thing, right? This sort of distinction between natural and supernatural. I don't like that, and I don't think it's legitimate. But so you say it would be a mistake to assume there's some sort of scientific explanation. Well, science, again, just investigates reality, like what is real. You can apply the scientific method to anything. So to say there would be some sort of scientific explanation, yeah, given the clarification, we should, anything has the scientific method can be applied to anything, even if it's, something that's natural that we haven't discovered yet, a realm beyond ours, which is still natural because it's about reality. But so that sort of rephrased question, that we shouldn't expect, or that it would be unreasonable to just think that it would have to be an explanation that conforms to what are currently held to be natural laws. But we always assume that. I don't think we could do science reliably without assuming that. Science investigating reality depends on assumptions about things that have always happened a certain way happening that way, right? We have gravity. We don't have any examples of something defying gravity. We don't have any, examples of, phenomenons. We assume we assume the law of gravity. We assume, the laws of physics apply in any given situation. We wouldn't grant in any legitimate investigation the possibility of something not conforming to those laws until demonstrated to be possible. Okay. So at least in the Catholic Church, these extra miracles are necessary. None of these extra miracles are necessary to believe the other essential beliefs. In fact, Catholics are not obligated to believe these happened. Their role is in supplementing the faith. Well, I find it interesting then that you began with these miracles when you sent these to me, when they're, as you say, not essential. I mean, if a nutritionist was trying to teach me, the fundamentals of dieting, I don't think they would start with talking to me about vitamins. We would probably have a conversation about the fundamental nutrients of proteins and carbohydrates and fats. But I digress. That's okay. It was interesting looking into this stuff. Okay, so you say a more suitable phenomenon to look into is this. Many people claim to have seen someone risen from the dead and believed it so completely they were willing to die for it. That is a more pivotal miracle. So I don't think the fact that people were willing to die because they believe something happened, they believe whatever their belief is, proves that the belief is true. I mean, the 9/11 hijackers, they were willing to die for their belief. But obviously, I don't think you believe that's true. I don't think you believe suicide bombers are correct in their beliefs. But they're willing to die for that. So I don't think that point holds. I'm going to link a video here because There's a video I saw, goes into detail about like the psychology of believers, and goes through actually this particular claim about these people dying for this belief. And it talks about why this isn't really that unique. Actually, there's other examples of this historically. So I'm gonna link that video. But okay, so just for the sake of argument, if you're saying that they either died just completely lying about what happened, and there's not some sort of psychological reason, or some there wasn't some sort of hallucination or anything. So it's either that they died completely believing that this happened. Excuse me. They either died lying with absolutely no belief that this actually occurred, or they completely believed it because it actually happened. If those are your two possibilities, well, why would they lie for something that they knew not to be true? Who knows? Who knows what the reason they would die, not recanting of this testimony that they saw someone who rose from the dead. Who knows what reason might be? And you can say that that seems implausible, but you can't use the you can't say what's more likely is an explanation that hasn't even been demonstrated to be possible, and in fact would defy something that we know, that we have seen throughout all of our observations of nature, that when creatures or living things die, they stay dead. They don't come back to life, okay? From mosquitoes to monkeys, giraffes, whales, human beings, every creature on planet Earth that has ever lived has died and stayed dead after it died. Uh, Not every creature that has died, that has existed, has died, because obviously we exist and we're not dead. So every creature that has ever died has stayed dead. We have no examples, no demonstrated examples of that even actually being possible. So you're saying, well, this seems highly implausible that they would just die for something that wasn't true. But you can't tell me that it's more possible, or what's more plausible is a phenomenon occurring that hasn't even been established to be possible through like empirical evidence. If 1,000 people in New York City tomorrow said that they saw Superman fly across the sky, I wouldn't believe them, and it wouldn't matter the strength of their conviction in saying that they saw Superman, okay, until I saw an actual demonstration of a human being flying, because that is not known to be possible. There's never been a human being that has been proven to be able to fly. Every human being is flightless. We have never seen somebody just take off into the sky. Okay, so there's no uh, demonstrated demonstration of this phenomenon even being possible, of somebody being dead and then being alive again. Okay, so I don't know how you could argue that it would be more reasonable to believe in an impossibility than in what seems to be highly implausible. Anyway, I'm gonna stop this, and I think I'll make a part two. It's already like 20 minutes.